Well, I think it's not, because most of the measures that the government is implementing are pro-cyclical. That is to say, they aggravate, they accelerate the direction in which the economy is going. The economy right now is going south, so it accelerates that movement, right? It's pro-cyclical as opposed to anti-cyclical. But Spain is just a microcosm of Europe. I mean, it's just one more instance of what is going on throughout the Eurozone. And again, the issue is that, of course, the banks are in bad shape because something happened, to real estate, or something happened to households that are too much into debt and they cannot keep up with their payments on their loans. And so the banks, or many of the banks, are in trouble. That means that there's no credit going to companies. That also means that companies don't have, a way of investing and creating jobs, but also they don't want to do it because they don't see the demand for their goods there. Internal demand, of course, is depressed, and export-led demand is also depressed because at this point in time, the global economy is not doing well because the emerging economies, as you know, are also in trouble, right? And growth is slowly coming down, even in China. So it seems as if there's no way out. We can talk about the possible solutions, but it seems as if austerity measures don't work. You mentioned the figure about the deficit that is getting bigger. Well, governments in Spain, in Portugal, in Greece, in Ireland have been announcing new austerity measures at a rate of every 2 months or so, right? Or 3 months over the last couple of years. And they cut this much, right? And what happens? Well, interest on the debt takes away half of the savings because the interest rates keep on going up, right? When they refinance their debt. And then the other half of the savings go into paying the additional unemployed people that have been generated because the economy is not growing. So subsidies have to be paid. And then on top of that, tax revenue goes down because there's not enough economic activity, right? There's not enough movement in the economy that the government can tax, right? So it's a pro-cyclical dynamic, and there are ways out of it, but I don't think austerity is the way out of it. Well, no government likes to be bailed out, right? So this is the basic thing to keep in mind. This is what's going on. The government in Madrid doesn't want to be bailed out because that would reduce its autonomy. And of course, they will do whatever it takes, right? Essentially to avoid a formal official bailout. Not that governments in Europe or in the Eurozone have a lot of autonomy anymore, but a bailout would reduce that autonomy, especially on the fiscal front, to nearly zero, right? So they want to avoid that, and they're trying to see if, suddenly they see the light at the end of the tunnel, if there's some change in the global economic or financial landscape that may give the country, a ray of hope. But unfortunately, pretty much all of the news are bad, right? One after another. And so sooner or later, if this dynamic continues, well, Spain essentially will be like Greece and Portugal and Ireland before it. It will be locked out of the debt markets. It won't be able to sell as much debt instruments as it needs to in order to continue financing itself. And at that point, then there will be no other solution than to ask the European Union for a bailout. Well, people have been saying that a bailout might occur, anytime for probably the last 6 months or 8 months in the case of Spain. So I guess at the rate things are going, it may not be more than 2 or 3 more months. But again, I mean, something could happen that changes the situation. Although I doubt that something big enough, right, significant enough, will occur that will change the basic dynamic right now. So it seems as if it's a matter of a few months now, as opposed to a year or a year and a half, which was the situation, back at the beginning of the current year, 2012.